Hello everyone, welcome back to today's story. In this episode, tension runs higher than ever, because even though James's father fiercely opposes their relationship, James and Diep have finally made their choice. After years of waiting, of facing judgment and doubt, the two decide it's time to stop waiting for permission. From a quiet hilltop proposal bathed in sunset, to a secret plan for a simple wedding under the banyan tree, their hearts move in sync. But behind the calm, an even greater storm brews. Will their decision tear the family apart, or finally prove that love can stand against pride and tradition? Stay until the end to feel the power of that choice. And don't forget to subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Your support means the world to us. The phone buzzes sharply, cutting through the tense silence of the office. James glances at the screen. His father. He exhales, braces himself, and answers. "Branch report done yet?" Mr. Sun's voice, as always, firm and commanding. "Almost," James replies, flipping through a stack of papers. But then comes the real reason for the call. "And what's this nonsense I hear about you still planning that wedding with Diep?" James freezes mid-page. His grip tightens, veins visible along his wrist. "Dad, we're not giving up," he says carefully. "Not giving up?" Mr. Sun scoffs. "You think this is some romantic drama? That girl, she's been divorced, brought in a child from God knows where, and now she's tricked you into this?" James's jaw hardens. "You've never even met her, Dad. You're judging based on gossip. I've heard enough to know she's not fit for you." There it was again, that wall between them. Years of expectations, of control, of thinking he always knew best. James shuts his eyes, forcing calm. "Diep and I verified everything about Nee's adoption. There's no secret, no hidden agenda. She's just a little girl who needed love." Mr. Sun scoffs again. "Love doesn't fill a stomach, James. I didn't work my whole life so you could throw away your career on some sentimental dream." The words slice deeper than intended. James's voice cracks slightly. "Dad, I'm not throwing anything away. I'm choosing someone who believes in me, not my title." A long silence, then coldly, "I'm not forbidding you, but I will never accept it." The line goes dead. James stands motionless, the phone still in his hand. His reflection in the glass wall looks like a stranger. Tired eyes, clenched fists, heart heavy. He looks out at the storm clouds gathering outside. They look just like his father's disapproval. Dark, stubborn, and impossible to move. That evening, in the Sun family's mansion, tension fills every corner. The chandelier's light scatters across polished marble, gleaming coldly on Mr. Sun's face as he paces. She's uneducated, divorced, and bringing a random child into my family. This is shameful. Mrs. Huyen sets her teacup down, voice calm but sharp. "You talk about shame, but what about love, son? What about our son's happiness?" "Happiness?" he snaps, eyes blazing. "Happiness doesn't last when reality hits. Do you want him to suffer like we did?" Her voice trembles, but doesn't break. "We suffered because of poverty, not because of love. You can't compare them." He slams his hand on the table, the echo cutting through the room. "I built all this from nothing. And now you want me to watch him ruin it all for a woman who'll never understand his world?" Mrs. Huyen rises, standing eye to eye with him. Maybe she doesn't need to understand his world. Maybe she's building a new one with him. For a moment, Mr. Sun says nothing. The ticking clock fills the silence, each second like a heartbeat of anger he's trying to suppress. "If I'd followed my heart back then," he mutters, "we'd have starved." She steps closer, her tone soft but piercing. "And if you had followed your heart, maybe we would have been poor, but happy." He turns away, chest heaving. "You've given me a house, cars, luxury, but you can't buy kindness for our son," she says, tears welling. Mr. Sun doesn't reply. He grabs his coat, strides toward the door, and slams it shut behind him. The sound echoes through the empty hall like thunder after lightning. Mrs. Huyen sinks onto the sofa, whispering, "James, whatever happens, Mom believes in you." A week later, James drives the off-road truck up the winding hill. The engine roars through dust and tall grass, the scent of wildflowers drifting through the open window. Diep, sitting beside him, leans her head out, hair dancing in the breeze. "This place is gorgeous," she says, smiling wide. James grins faintly. "I thought you'd like it. I used to come here whenever I needed clarity." When they reach the top, he turns off the engine. Silence takes over, except for birds chirping and the rustle of leaves. Below them, a small village glows under the sunset. Red tiled roofs, thin trails of cooking smoke, children's laughter carried by the wind. "It's like a painting," Diep whispers. James walks over, takes her hand gently. "There's something I need to say." She turns, eyes curious, unsure. He leads her to a flat rock overlooking the valley. The wind picks up, cool and tender, carrying the smell of soil and rain. James takes a deep breath. "My father's against us. He won't change his mind anytime soon." Diep nods slowly, eyes glistening. "I know. He doesn't think I'm enough for you." He smiles faintly. "He's wrong. You're the only person who's ever made me feel complete." Diep looks away, tears threatening to fall. "I don't want you to fight your family for me." James shakes his head. "This isn't about fighting him. It's about standing for us." He reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small velvet box. Her breath catches instantly. "James." He kneels down, the sunlight catching the ring's silver gleam. "This isn't my first proposal," he says, voice trembling. "But this time, I'm not asking you to think. I'm asking you to believe." Diep covers her mouth, tears spilling freely now. "After everything, you still want to marry me?" James nods. "Especially after everything." She laughs through tears. "I turned you down twice before because I was scared you'd regret it. I'll only regret not doing this sooner." He slips the ring onto her finger, his hand shaking slightly. The world around them falls silent. Even the wind seems to hold its breath. Diep looks at the ring, its diamond catching the last rays of sunset, and whispers, "It's beautiful." James stands, pulling her into his arms. "We'll marry soon, Diep. I don't care if it's small or just the two of us under the sky. But your father," he interrupts softly, "he'll come around. And even if he doesn't, I'll still choose you." Diep rests her forehead on his chest, listening to his heartbeat. "Then let's do it. Let's get married." The breeze carries their laughter down the hill, mingling with the smell of wild grass and the distant hum of life below. For the first time in months, James feels peace. Not the kind that comes from victory, but the kind that comes from knowing you've chosen love despite fear. As the sun disappears beyond the ridge, the first stars begin to appear. Their rings glint faintly under the twilight, two tiny lights refusing to fade, like their promise, standing strong against the night ahead. The next morning, James wakes early. Pale sunlight streams through the curtains, painting golden streaks across the wooden floor. Diep is still asleep beside him, her hand resting gently over his chest. Fingers curled over the ring she refused to take off last night. For a moment, he just watches her. The peaceful rhythm of her breathing. The faint smile even in sleep. Everything feels calm, but underneath that calmness, a decision begins to form. Clearer than ever before, he quietly slips out of bed, steps outside, and stands on the balcony overlooking the dew-covered garden. The morning air is crisp, and the village down below hums faintly with life. Roosters crowing, a vendor calling out, someone starting their motorbike. James takes a long breath and dials a number. His assistant's groggy voice answers, "Boss, you're up early." James says simply, "I need you to check wedding venues." Something simple, but soon, within the next few weeks. The other end goes silent. "You mean it's official?" "Yes," James replies, looking out toward the horizon. It's time. By the time Diep wakes, the breakfast table is already full. Fresh bread, honey pomelo jam, and a glass of milk. James sits across from her, laptop open, calendar glowing on screen. "Morning," she murmurs, rubbing her eyes. "Morning," he answers, voice soft but steady. "We need to decide something." She looks up, instantly sensing the shift in his tone. "What's wrong?" He shakes his head. "Nothing's wrong. I just don't want to wait anymore." Diep blinks. "Wait for what?" "For our wedding." She freezes, spoon midway to her lips. "James?" "I've thought it through," he continues, eyes locked on hers. "Every delay gives Dad another chance to stop us. I don't want fear or tradition deciding our lives. I want us to choose our own timeline." Diep's lips part slightly, trembling. "But your father, he's still furious. He won't show up. He might even cut you off." James smiles faintly, but there's a quiet fire behind it. "Then he'll miss seeing his son's happiest day. I won't lose you waiting for approval that'll never come." Diep stares at him, voice barely a whisper. "You really mean it?" He nods, sliding his hand across the table to hold hers. "We'll make it small, simple. No fancy hall, no expensive decor. Just the two of us, our closest friends, and Nye. I want her to see the moment her parents promise forever." Her eyes blur with emotion. "James, are you sure you're ready for the consequences?" He laughs softly. "I've been ready since the day I saw you teaching Nye to draw on the porch. That was the moment I realized, this is home." Diep lowers her gaze, wiping at her tears. "You're too good to me." "No," James says gently. "You're just worth everything I've got." Later that afternoon, they drive to the hill again. The same one where he proposed. The sky is clearer this time, blue stretching endlessly, birds gliding in lazy arcs above them. Diep brings a small notebook, flipping through pages of sketches and ideas. "I was thinking," she says, "we could hold the ceremony right here, under this tree. She points to the massive banyan, its roots curling around stones like old wise hands. James looks up at it, nodding. It's perfect, natural, quiet, real. They walk around, marking spots with small sticks. Here for the arch, she says, and maybe there for Nye's flower stand. He chuckles. You're already planning everything. Diep grins. I've dreamed of this for too long to leave it to chance. Her face softens, and she turns serious again. But James, are we doing this because of love or defiance? He pauses, the question sinking deep. Both, maybe, he admits, but mostly because of love. I want our life to begin, not in someone else's approval, but in our own choice. She nods slowly, the weight of his words sinking in. Then we do it soon. No more waiting. When? He asks quietly. Diep looks out toward the valley, sunlight catching her hair. As soon as possible. The answer hits him like a wave of calm certainty. He nods, pulling her into his arms, whispering against her forehead, Then that's what we'll do. We'll get married soon. Evening falls. Back in the city, Mr. Sun sits in his study, an untouched cup of tea growing cold beside him. Mrs. Huyen steps in quietly. He doesn't look up, but mutters, "He's not answering my calls again." "You pushed him too hard," she says gently. "He's not a boy anymore." Mr. Sun sighs, rubbing his temples. He's throwing away everything for that woman. Maybe he's finally living for himself. Her words hang in the air like smoke. Mr. Sun stands abruptly, pacing. He thinks love alone can survive reality. He doesn't understand. Business, reputation, family name, those things matter. Mrs. Huyen steps closer, her voice calm but piercing. What matters more? Your pride or his happiness? He stops, jaw tightening. You once said you'd do anything to see him smile. She continues softly. Now he's finally smiling, and you can't bear it because you're not the reason. Mr. Sun's hand trembles slightly. He's planning a wedding, isn't he? She nods. Soon. Very soon. He looks away, eyes dark. If he wants to walk this path, let him. But he'll do it without my blessing. Mrs. Huyen doesn't argue. She simply says, then don't expect him to ask for it. Meanwhile, in their small house on the edge of the farm, Diep finishes sewing a white dress. Simple linen, soft and elegant. Nee sits nearby, stringing tiny daisies into a crown. Mommy, Nee says suddenly, when's your wedding? Diep smiles. Soon, sweetheart. Very soon. Will Grandpa come? The girl asks innocently. Diep pauses for a moment, then smiles again, gentler this time. Maybe not, but that's okay, because the people who truly love us will be there. Nye nods, slipping the daisy crown onto Diep's head. You look like a princess. James appears in the doorway, sleeves rolled up, sawdust still on his arms. He laughs quietly. She's more than a princess. She's my future. Diep blushes, pretending to be annoyed. Stop saying things like that in front of Nye. But Nee giggles. Say it again, Daddy. James crouches beside them, holding both his girls in a warm embrace. All right then, he whispers. You both are my whole world. That night, they sit on the porch beneath a sky full of stars. Crickets sing. The air smells faintly of pomelo blossoms. James takes Diep's hand, thumb brushing over the ring once more. We'll tell everyone tomorrow, he says quietly. Our friends, your neighbors, even the workers. We'll make it official. Diep looks up at the glowing moon. They'll talk, you know. Your father's friends, your company board. Let them talk, James interrupts softly. They'll eventually see what I see. Love that's real doesn't need permission. Diep leans against him, her head resting on his shoulder. Then it's settled. We'll hold our wedding soon. Soon, he echoes, his hand tightening around hers. The night stretches deep and quiet, filled with the scent of earth and new beginnings. In that silence, two hearts make an unspoken vow, not just to get married, but to fight for the kind of life they choose for themselves. And even though the wedding hasn't happened yet, the decision itself already feels sacred, like the first step of a lifelong promise that no disapproval, no distance, and no tradition could ever erase.